For decades, we've been told one thing over and over. Salt is the enemy of a healthy heart. But what if that's just a myth?
You've heard it a million times, right? Cut the salt to lower your blood pressure. But a growing number of experts are starting to challenge this, suggesting the real culprit might be hiding somewhere else on our dinner plate entirely. I mean, listen to this. This is from Dr. Annette Bosworth, an internal medicine specialist. She adds salt to her coffee, and her blood pressure is totally normal. This one little habit seems to fly in the face of everything we've been taught. So what does she know that maybe we don't?
So how on earth is that possible? Well, according to Dr. Bosworth, the answer isn't really about the salt itself. It's about how your body is built to handle it. The real story, she says, is a tale of two very different metabolisms. Okay, so here's how it works from her perspective. If you're metabolically healthy, your kidneys are like a super efficient processing plant. They just flush out any extra salt, no problem. But if you're metabolically unhealthy, your kidneys start to struggle. They hold on to that salt. And you know what follows salt? Water. So the total amount of fluid in your blood vessels goes up, and boom, your blood pressure rises. Now, Dr. Bosworth says this principle is often used as a kind of dirty trick in hospitals. If they restrict a patient's salt, they can get those blood pressure numbers down fast, just in time for discharge. But here's the thing. She argues it's just a temporary Band-Aid. It doesn't fix the real problem, and it doesn't do anything to improve your health in the long run. So, if salt isn't the root of all evil here, what is? Well, in Dr. Bosworth's model, we need to stop looking at the salt shaker and start looking at the sugar bowl. The investigation points to one powerful hormone, insulin. And this is the chain reaction she lays out. It all starts with a diet high in processed carbs. That makes your insulin levels spike again and again. And what does chronically high insulin do? It sends a signal to your kidneys, basically telling them, hey, hold on to all that salt. And that salt retention, of course, leads to water retention, which increases your blood volume and, you guessed it, raises your blood pressure. So you see, in this model, salt isn't the one starting the fire. It's more like an amplifier. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire that high insulin already started. The root problem is the insulin. Now, this insulin-first way of thinking doesn't just change what we think is the cause, it actually changes our whole definition of what's safe. It suggests the real danger zone for blood pressure could be much, much lower than most of us think. For years, that line in the sand was always 140/90. That was the big, scary number for high blood pressure. But Dr. Bosworth points to some major clinical trials that show the damage, the real harm, actually starts happening way before you hit that number. Take the famous SPRINT trial. It was a huge study, and they actually had to stop it early. Why? For ethical reasons. The finding was just that clear. The group of patients whose blood pressure was kept around this level, the 120/80s, had way more heart attacks and a higher death rate than the group whose pressure was pushed even lower. So based on that kind of data, the new goalpost for optimal health and a long life is now considered to be consistently below 120/80. We're really talking about being in the 110s/70s. And look, this really matters because you can't feel high blood pressure. It's a silent disease. One day of high pressure won't hurt you, but after a few months, it becomes a chronic problem. And Dr. Bosworth warns from what she's seen in her practice that after about 5 years of this, you risk flipping a switch inside your body that causes damage you just can't undo. So what's actually getting damaged? Well, it happens on a microscopic level, to this incredibly delicate protective lining inside all of your arteries. It's called the glycocalyx. Just try to picture it. It's this beautiful, slimy, almost gel-like shield that protects your blood vessels from the constant pounding force of your blood flow. According to Dr. Bosworth, high insulin is what just destroys this shield. The sustained high pressure it causes is like sandpaper, literally shredding this delicate layer. And that leaves your most fragile organs, your kidneys, your brain, your heart, totally exposed and vulnerable to damage. Okay, so if high insulin is the main problem, then taking control of it has to be the most powerful solution, right? This opens up a completely different way to think about fixing high blood pressure. The path that Dr. Bosworth lays out is a full-on metabolic reset. This means you radically cut the processed carbs and you adopt a ketogenic lifestyle. By focusing on nutrient-dense foods like meat and eggs,
The whole goal is to drop your insulin so dramatically that your body can actually start to heal itself, which often means reducing or even getting rid of blood pressure medications altogether.
And get this, the results she reports are incredibly fast. In her own clinic, Dr. Bosworth has seen patients on a keto diet cut their blood pressure medication in half in just 4 days. And within 2 weeks, she says many are able to come off it almost entirely. That's just wild. Ultimately, what a perspective like this does is put the power right back in your hands. It's a huge shift from being a passive patient to becoming an active scientist in your own health journey.
And Dr. Bosworth's final message is really a call to action. She encourages people to become their own health scientists. Do a little experiment. Check your own numbers. See how your body responds. You need to become the world's leading expert on your own body because it really, truly matters.
So the big takeaway from this whole perspective is that managing your blood pressure might have less to do with the salt shaker and a lot more to do with the sugar bowl. The only question left is, are you ready to take a look